Hey everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah,
Today we're looking at some pretty shocking stuff.
pretty wild stuff.
Former President Trump had a rally in Arizona,
Right.
and he had some really uh, incendiary things to say about Liz Cheney.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big question on everybody's mind is
Yeah.
where's the line between acceptable political rhetoric and, inciting violence or threatening violence?
Yeah, and I think that's something that, we're going to kind of unpack today as we go through this deep dive, and I really think folks should like and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, hit that notification bell.
Hit that bell, leave us a comment, let us know what you think about all this, because it's pretty crazy stuff.
Definitely.
So to get started, I think it'd be helpful for folks if we just read the exact quote from Trump.
Yeah, let's do it.
So at this rally, he said, let's put Liz Cheney with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her. Let's see how she feels about it, when the guns are trained on her face.
Wow.
So that's
Wow. Strong words.
pretty intense stuff.
Yeah, and to really understand why this is such a big deal, I think we need to rewind a little bit, give some context.
Yeah.
Right. So Liz Cheney, she's been a vocal critic of Trump for a while now.
Right.
She was one of the few Republicans who voted to impeach him after January 6th.
Right, and she serves on the January 6th committee.
Exactly. So she's really been a thorn in his side. And this quote, it's not just some random outburst. It's part of a pattern of him attacking anyone who he sees as an enemy.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's dangerous.
well, and we saw a lot of immediate reaction
Oh, yeah.
to this. Chris Christie was on The View,
Right.
and he called it a direct threat,
Yeah.
which is
Especially coming from Chris Christie,
Yeah.
who's, not exactly a never-Trumper. He's
Yeah.
been pretty supportive of Trump in the past.
Yeah, so for him to come out and say that it was a direct threat, I think was really significant.
I think that was really telling. Yeah.
And then you have Anna Novaro, who compared Trump's rhetoric to that of communist regimes.
Right. And that's a heavy comparison.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, authoritarian regimes,
Yeah.
they use fear and intimidation to silence their opponents.
Yeah.
They threaten them with violence, they disappear them.
Right.
And so the question is that the road that we're going down here? Is that what Trump is trying to do?
Yeah, it's scary to think about.
It is a scary thought.
And then, of course, Liz Cheney herself responded on X Twitter and called Trump a dictator.
Which makes sense given the quote, right? He's
Yeah.
essentially saying, if you speak out against me,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
That's not how democracy is supposed to work.
No.
We're supposed to settle our differences through debate and through the ballot box, not through threats of violence.
Right, and this is what's so concerning about this whole situation is
Yeah.
that it seems like we're moving away from that.
Right?
It's like we're becoming more and more divided, and we're less and less willing
To even talk to each other.
Yeah, to even talk to each other and to listen to each other.
Right. It's all about shouting down the other side.
Yeah, and I mean, was he being serious? Was he just...
Who knows? I mean, it's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
Is this just typical Trump hyperbole?
Right.
Is he trying to rile up his base? Or does he actually mean this? It's impossible to know for sure, but I think the point is
Yeah.
that the words themselves are dangerous.
Right.
Regardless of his intent, the impact is still the same.
Yeah, and it's like Anna Navarro was saying, there's this real irony here.
Yeah.
Republicans are always accusing Democrats of being communists and socialists.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have Trump engaging in this kind of rhetoric.
Right. It's like they're accusing the other side of doing the very thing that they're doing.
Exactly. It's projection.
It's really something.
It is, and I think it speaks to a larger problem
Yeah.
in our political discourse right now, which is that both sides are engaging in this kind of extreme rhetoric.
They're demonizing the other side. They're refusing to engage in any kind of meaningful dialogue.
Right.
And it's creating this really toxic environment.
Yeah. And it's dangerous because,
Mm-hmm.
when you start demonizing the other side,
Yeah.
it's easier to justify violence against them.
Right.
And that's what we need to be really careful about.
Yeah, I think this whole incident is like a wake-up call.
Yeah.
It's a sign that we're headed down a dangerous path.
Yeah.
And we need to start having some serious conversations about how to turn things around.
Yeah. I mean, where do we draw the line?
Yeah.
Like, what is acceptable political speech and what is not?
And I think each of us has to answer that question for ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
where do we personally draw the line?
Right.
And what are we willing to do to stand up for those lines?
Yeah. And I think that's something that everybody listening needs to really think about
Definitely.
and let us know what you think in the comments.
We want to hear from you.
Yeah. But that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. That was intense.
It was a heavy one.
It was.
But thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
And make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.